Hi friends, welcome back to another video. In this video, I am going to be doing a get ready with me using all of my Sephora Gratis that I've been receiving these last couple of months, and I have some really exciting products that I'm super excited to talk about. But before we get started in this get ready with me, please make sure to subscribe down below for new videos every single week, and let's get to it. Alright, so to start things off, I am going to moisturize and prime my face using my Caress Wild Rose Smoothie Brightening Priming Moisturizer. So this is more of a skincare product, but it has priming benefits to it as well. So I'm going to use it all over my face to refresh my skin. So to add even more moisture into my skin, I'm going to be using my Marc Jacobs Recover Perfecting Coconut Setting Mist. And this is the most hydrating setting mist slash priming mist that I have ever tried. So I'm pretty much just adding a lot of hydration into my skin because I am going to be using the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Foundation. I know for a fact it's a matte foundation like the name suggests. So I am going to be taking the necessary steps in order to make this matte foundation work for my skin type. I am dry skin. It smells so amazing, like it's such a wonderful coconutty smell. And like I said, I am going to be using the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Foundation today, and I chose the shade Y245, and I'm just going to apply some on the back of my hands here. And I am going to be using my Sephora Collection Pro Slanted Buffing Brush. This is number 88. And I feel like it has the right undertone for me. It's definitely a very ivory undertone. All right, let's go ahead and blend this out. So my first impression is that it's giving me some pretty good coverage. Yeah, it's doing a really good job at evening out my skin tone. I do have a little bit of like discoloration, especially around my mouth area. And I think this is like a perfect match. And I also think that the brush is doing a really great job at dispersing this foundation without leaving any streaks behind. Awesome, so far so good. I really like the foundation. I like how it looks. It definitely gave me coverage. I don't feel like I'm wearing foundation. It's really nice and lightweight, and it doesn't look cakey whatsoever. Great, so next, to conceal my face, I'm going to be using the new Tarte Creaseless Concealer, and I got the shade Light Sand 20S, and I'm going to be using it to highlight my face, and I'm also going to attempt to use it on my eyelid. I'm also going to be testing it out as an eyeshadow primer, and we'll see if that works. Hopefully it does not backfire on me. So let's go ahead and start by illuminating this whole area here. And like I said before, I do have an opinion about this concealer. As of right now, I feel like it's one of those super heavyweight, thick, super creamy concealers, and I'm talking the creamy, like not in a good way, like the creamy that it's like, oh shoot, am I going to be able to blend this out with my beauty blender type of creamy. I am so curious to see how this is going to blend into this foundation. This is a very creamy concealer, and I did apply a very matte foundation, but we will see in just a second what we think about this. And to blend this out, I'm going to be using my beauty blender, which is one of my go-to tools for makeup application, like hands down. Let's go ahead and go for it. That did a pretty good job. So the concealer blended in really nicely into the foundation. I don't see any patchiness or anything, because sometimes when concealers are too matte or too water-based, they can do a pretty bad job at blending into other foundations that might have different consistency, such as like water-based matte foundations. So far I'm actually really impressed with how the concealer is blending into this really matte foundation. Alright, so this is what it looks like before setting the face, and I am pleased with how easily I was able to blend the concealer, and I also really like the color. I think it suits me very well for it to be like a brightening concealer. So let's go ahead and set it and continue on doing this complexion. To set my concealer, I'm going to be using my Laura Mercier Loose Setting Powder, and today I'm kind of in a baking mood, so I'm just going to dip my beauty blender into this powder. And I usually don't bake, but I actually have been baking this whole last week, and I did realize that my makeup did last a little bit longer after I baked my face, so we're baking today. And today I'm going to very lightly bronze, and I'm going to be using my Anastasia bronzer in the shade Saddle, and I'm also going to be using a Sigma Dual Fiber Powder slash Blush brush. This is F15, and it's just a fiber brush. It's going to pick up less product, so it's going to be more of a natural bronzy finish as opposed to like a all over bronze. And to highlight my face today, I'm going to be using the new Laura Mercier Translucent Glow Setting Powder, and I'm going to be applying it with the new Laura Mercier highlight brush that has this really awesome curved shape to it. So I'm going to tap a little bit onto the lid here. I'm going to just directly dip this in here. I'm gonna tap off the excess because I want the brush to be like fully covered, but I don't want there to be like too much product on there. So this is what my brush looks like at the moment. Just gonna glide it on. It hugs my face perfectly, and maybe I can like, yeah, bring it around my brow bone like right there. You see that? That's really pretty. It's very natural. It's like a natural glow. Let's add a little bit more. So a second layer. I'm going to dip, 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 and then tap off all the excess product. You know? Go for it. I really love how soft this brush is. And it kind of hugs my seat. Ooh, that is so pretty. I really like how natural the glow is looking on top of my bronzer here. So I really, really love this Laura Mercier Glow Setting Powder as a highlight. I don't think I would use it anywhere on my under eyes or anything. To fill my eyebrows, I'm going to be using the new Benefit Brow Contour Pro Pen, and I got the shade Brown Medium. So this is a very interesting product because this is kind of like one of those 90s old school pens where it had like different colors on it, and then you can just kind of like pick what color you want it to like write in. It's kind of that same concept, but it comes with certain nudie shades that will be great to highlight the eyebrow, define the eyebrow, all of that. So to start off, I'm going to use the lighter shade, and I'm going to go ahead and click it down. And by doing that, it kind of dispenses a little bit of product outward. And when you run out of product and you need a little bit more, all you have to do is kind of like click it, and then more product comes out, which is really cool. So let's see if it actually works. I wonder, maybe I need to crank out a little bit more product out. I feel like I'm not getting like an even application. I pretty much have drawn my whole eyebrow shape, and I am now going to use this color here, and on the pen this is called the deeper shade, and I'm going to use this shade to fill the outer half or the tail of my eyebrow. I'm gonna crank out a fair amount of product there, make it easier on myself. Alright, so I have filled about 2/3 of my eyebrow, and at this point I'm going to use the lighter shade. I'm going to go back to the lighter shade to fill the inner half of my eyebrow. Alright, so I have now filled my whole eyebrow, and I noticed the pen doesn't come with a spoolie, so I'm probably going to have to grab one of my eyebrow brushes and use this spoolie to kind of tone down the intensity. I do feel like the product went on very, very smoothly. It was very creamy, very easy to use, but I did wish that this came with a spoolie. So I'm going to soften this part of my eyebrow first because I want it to be the softest part of the brow. This little section right here. Create some shading right there. Then I'm going to run the spoolie through the whole eyebrow to kind of blend these colors in together, and the spoolie will always tone down the intensity of your eyebrows. So I always tell people, think of the spoolie as your eraser. I feel pretty good about that. I am now going to clean my eyebrow, and in this pen it has this shade. It's called the definer shade. So I think this color is supposed to clean the eyebrow. I feel like this is gonna be a little bit difficult, but I don't know if I used too much product, but like the whole thing just came off on me right now. No, wasted. I am now going to use the highlighting shade, which is this one right here, and I'm going to use that to illuminate or to clean up the base of my eyebrow. So I went ahead and removed the product that was on my eyelid, and I reapplied some of my Tarte Creaseless Concealer because I do want to try it out as an eyeshadow primer. And today I am going to be recreating the same look that I was wearing on my previous haul video that I just filmed. I just got a lot of requests of people wanting to see how I created that specific eye look. And for that eye look, I did use the Fenty Moroccan Spice eyeshadow palette. To start off, I'm going to be using a fluffy blending brush. This is the Sigma Tapered Blending E35 brush, so it looks like that. It's fairly large, and I'm going to go ahead and use this kind of orangey brown color in the palette, and that's what's going to go in my crease area. I have to blend out this concealer because it already creased on me. So I'm going to start the application on the outer half of my eye, and it's going to be right on kind of the halfway area of my lid, so it's kind of like right there, circular motions. And I'm working it into the V of the eye. And whatever's left on the brush is what I like to bring into the inner half of the eyelid. So I'm just going to build this color until I'm satisfied with the intensity. To deepen up the color, I'm going to be using the deep red right here in this eyeshadow palette, and that's what's going to go lower on my crease and on the V of my eye. And I'm going to use a MAC 224 brush, which is this nice fluffy brush, and I'm going to focus that kind of lower on the eye area right here. I'm going to keep the darker colors low on the eye. And right now I'm packing on that same dark red on the V of the eye because I want to keep the smokiness kind of like in that little area. And this is my third layer kind of in this outer half area of the dark red because I want it to be really nice and smoky. And next I'm going to cover my whole eyelid, about 2/3 of the lid, with my new Marc Jacobs single eyeshadow, and this is the shade OMG number 550, and this is what it looks like. It's like this really beautiful coppery eyeshadow. It's like super creamy. I love it. I like to start the application at the base of the eyelid, and then I pretty much bring the eyeshadow upwards into the blending that I did right there in the middle. But can you believe it? This pigment is like insane. It's so amazing. I love every single one of the eyeshadows that launched with this collection. I have never heard of a gel powder until Marc Jacobs came out with these eyeshadows. Even the matte shades are like super pigmented. These look and feel like a cream, but they blend like a powder. I'm gonna tap a little bit more kind of in the center. I do want this eyeshadow to cover 2/3 of my eyelid. Cool, going back to my MAC 224, and I'm going to go ahead and dip it into that dark red one once more. I'm going to diffuse this shadow into the copper. For the bottom lash line, I'm going to use the same large buffing brush, my Sigma E35, and I'm going to go back again and use the same colors that I used on the top, and I'm going to use them for the bottom lash line. So I'm going to start off by dipping this brush into that light brown, and then it's pretty much going to go really low on my bottom lash line here. I want to make sure that it's really nicely blended, like right there with the red. I want to bring a little bit more intensity, so I'm going to do a second layer of this shadow in that same area. So next I'm going to bring that dark red shade, and I'm going to apply it on my bottom lash line using my Sigma E20 smudging brush, and I'm going to do a couple of layers of the red just because I want the red to be very prominent. I want you to really be able to see the red more than like the brownish orange that I applied beforehand. So with the large blending brush, I dipped it into my Laura Mercier loose setting powder, and I'm going to just kind of clean up the edges of my bottom lash line using a little bit of translucent powder and some blending, just like that. And next, I am going to do a small wing using the new Stila Micro Tip Liquid Eyeliner. It has like this teeny little tiny applicator, which is perfect. So next I'm just going to curl my eyelashes using my Kevyn Aucoin eyelash curler, and I absolutely adore my Kevyn Aucoin eyelash curler. I have super straight eyelashes, and I don't know what it is about this specific eyelash curler, but it's really the only one that has ever been able to keep my eyelashes curled throughout the day. Like, and to me, that's a really big deal. And next for mascara, I'm going to be using the new NARS Climax mascara, which I'm really excited to be trying out. And it also comes in this really cool tube. Like, I love the dashes, and I don't know, I think it's very like modern looking. And this is what the brush looks like. It's really nice and fluffy, and you can tell right away that it's going to give you like volume. So this is my first time trying this mascara, so let's go ahead and go for it and see what we think. And that was one swipe. That is so exciting. Watch it do its thing. That was just like the first layer. That is awesome. And oh my goodness, the length of this is real. So let me see if I can look up. So I went ahead and curled my eyelashes, and this is what they look like after I curl them. They're really nice and long, but what's cool is that they still look natural and they feel fluffy. Like, they definitely have some movement to them. They don't feel like stiff. So I love the mascara, and I also think it did a really great job at highlighting my bottom lashes. Also, I almost forgot to mention one of the most important parts of this eyeshadow tutorial, and that was the inner corner. I used this really pretty green chromatic color to apply it on the inner corners of my eyes. So I'm going to use a little bit of my Smashbox primer water, and I'm going to just go ahead and spray my brush just like that, and that is going on the inner corner. So placement is very important. Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh yeah, this is a stunning shade. And I'm going to pick up a little bit more and do like a second layer of this. Yeah, right on top. I was supposed to do this step before I did my winged eyeliner, but that's okay. I'm going to touch up my wing in just a second. Apply a little bit more eyeliner on top of that inner corner color. Honestly, I think the green really makes this look. I think it just brings it together. It just gives it the right amount of light, the right amount of pop. And I do have to say that the Tarte Creaseless Concealer did a pretty good job as an eyeshadow primer. To finish the eye look, I'm going to be using the Velour Lip-In Lashes today, and they are a little bit smaller than what I would regularly use, but it's what I got in my gratis, so it's what I'm going to be using today. So I just set my face using the Smashbox primer water, and now to finish the look, I am going to use my new Marc Jacobs Enamored Hydrating Lip Gloss Stick, and this is the shade 556 One Mauve Time. So instead of one more time, it's one mauve time. I don't know what it is about Marc Jacobs, but all of the names of the lipsticks made by Marc Jacobs and the lip glosses, they're like old school songs, which I think is really cool. So if this one's called One Mauve Time, it probably is like talking about that song from the 90s. It's like, one more time, we're gonna celebrate. Anyways. I love this. It's like that perfect glossy lipstick. Marc Jacobs did an amazing job with this formula. It's just everything a girl needs. It's hydrating, pigmented, it's flirty, it's fun. And that does it for this Sephora Gratis Get Ready With Me. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video and found some value from it, please make sure to drop me a like, and also don't forget to subscribe for new videos every single week. Like always, I want to thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.